Go. There was a war. The end of the 6 realms. And it contended Thor in it. Thor and the other gods had to traverse the giants. It was the biggest battle no man has ever seen, and the Vikings had it scriptured, and this is how it played off. It all started with the fire giant burning Asgard to ashes. Thor heard this, so he called all the other gods to help him to kill the giants and end the war. But Thor, he died by getting bit by a serpent, his last battle. And with his last final attack, he used his hammer and he used all the electricity from his earth, bolted it from the sky, saying that he is the son of Odin, the god of thunder. He raises his hammer. The hammer transport to the 7th realm and lands in the sea, deep in the sea, but the same place, Norway. And there we had it. Thor gets bit by the serpent. Its venomous blood travels through Thor, killing Thor with one strike. Odin dies, Loki dies, Thor dies, Asgard dies, all the gods have died. Zeus, demigod, Hercules, all of them. Then we follow from a couple years later. We see Izuku Midoriya, just a normal 13-year-old boy, going to his school trip, where him and his classmates are going to Norway. And they're going to do all these different activities, and they've been learning about Viking history, and they're going to learn about their religion, meaning they're going to learn about their mythology, which, in this case, is not a mythology, it's real life. So, Deku's very excited. He's got his camera, and he's got a big suitcase. And he sees this new girl, and she's struggling to carry all her stuff. And then we see Bakugo push her on the floor. And Deku says, "Leave her alone." And Bakugo's like, "Hey, so you want to get a beating again? Oh, you stay in your lane, Deku. Or I'll have to fry you up, like I do to my popcorn." And Deku says, "Just leave her alone," and pushes him away from her. And the new girl says, "Thank you. My name is Achako Raka. What's yours?" And Deku says, "My name is Izuku Midoriya." And at this point, Deku's got the strength to wield Mjolnir. But in this case, we have to continue our story to get to that part. So, Bakugo's like, "Wait a minute, I'm bleeding." So that little dipshit cut my lip open. I'm not gonna have that. Bakugo throws a massive explosion, blasting Deku into rubbish. Everybody in his class start laughing at Deku. and Deku starts crying. Ochako kneels down and she's like, "Need help?" And Deku's like, "Yeah, I may as well go to the back of the line." So all this happens and everybody puts their suitcases, their bags into the place in the airport, and they take the plane and they go to Norway. They arrive at Norway. It's very chilly, and that's the first word Deku says. And then this random old man walked past and he says, yes, it is. Indeed it is." And Deku looks at him and is like, "Mister, have you seen my class? I haven't seen them lately. It's been around 2 minutes. I think I was the first one to come out of the plane. I kind of got lost." And the old man's like, "Think wiser." And Deku looks around and the man disappeared. And Deku's like, "What the? Where did that guy go? I guess he's got a real powerful quirk." Probably has a teleportation, but alright. Deku finds his class and the class are like, "We've been looking everywhere for you. Mister, when we get back to school, you're definitely gonna have a 1-week detention." And Deku was like, "I'm super cold." "Deku, you're lucky I didn't punch you. You're lucky I'm in the front of the line where the teacher is. But maybe next time I'll be the back of the line with you, best friend." And Bakugo spits at Deku. Deku's like, "Ew, disgusting. But okay." Chako's like, "I think you were pretty brave a couple hours ago. And I want to say thank you. I know I've already said it, but, I really mean it. People always bully me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my parents are poor, but I don't know." And Deku's like, "No, it's not about that. I think it's because of our quirks. It's not really as powerful as theirs. But I don't understand. How does somebody with big eyes bully me? Like, what?" And then the teacher's like, "Stop talking, everybody. Everybody, this is the hotel. Everybody find your rooms. And you have to share a bunk bed with somebody. So, keep going. And yes, boys, don't even be picking girls. First of all, girls, your section's down there. The boys, you stay right here with me. And if any of you boys try and make pranks in each another room or do ding-dong ditches on people's doors, you realize you'll get detention when we get back to school. Isn't that right, Izuku?" And Izuku was looking down in the ground. And Izuku's like, "Oh, no. What did I miss?" And the teacher's like, "Izuku, that's another detention. So you now go a 3-week detention." And Deku's like, "Oh, man." And then Bakugo's like, "Hey, best friend. Deku, you wanna be my roommate?" And Deku's like, "Kachan, I don't wanna be your roommate. I'm sorry." And Kachan says, "Sir, he's my roommate, and I know we may make fun of each other, but, it's all about banter." And the teacher's like, "I guess so. Izuku, are you okay with this?" And Bakugo's behind the teacher, and Bakugo is just smiling, and he's got a mini explosion ready to just beat up Deku whilst they're in the room together. And Deku's like, and the teacher's like, "I guess that's a yes. Your room will be number 23. Guys, keep going. Bedtime's in the next 20 minutes, so get ready. Tomorrow we all going to a hiking trip. Everybody go to sleep. Wait a minute, we haven't got food. I guess you guys can have a 1 hour talk and then you can get your food. It's now the next day. Deku has been beaten up in the room with Bakugo, and Deku, he's already lost 2 teeth in 1 day and in 1 night. He's broken a bone in his stomach, but he can't feel it yet. So Deku's wearing a coat and he's walking next to Bakugo, as Bakugo is his partner for the whole trip, because this trip is going to be like a 1-week thing. And then the teacher's like, I guess the outdoor hiking is not going to work now. Guys, I guess we have to hike some other day. Oh, wait a minute. But there is outside hiking. Oh, but there's mountain climbing. Well, we were meant to do that on Tuesday, but we could do it now. Guys, put your hands up if you want to vote. So, put your hand up if you want to do hiking. And nobody puts their hand up for hiking. Everybody puts their hand up for mountain climbing. And this time, mountain climbing is going to be built on this fake kind of mountain, which is a prop, and it's next to a lake. And yeah, wait a minute, it's not a lake. I mean, it's a river. But meanwhile, Deku and Bakugo are just walking until Ochako trips and Deku catches her, and Ochako's like, "Thank you, Deku. I think I could have hurt my head for a second. I don't know, I feel kind of dizzy." And Bakugo's like, "Ooh, Deku's got a new girlfriend. You wouldn't mind me stealing her from you? Because it wouldn't be the first time. Like, you remember that Toga girl that was your girlfriend in elementary? Ha! It's funny how I say these things, but I stole her from you. You realize I kissed her at the end of the day. She kissed back. Her lips taste like strawberry, and I still remember it. So, I'll check her. Meet me outside tomorrow night." And then Bakugo puts a breath mint in his mouth. And Izuku's like, "Stop that, you creep. I'll never forget the day. It's the worst day of my life." Yes, Deku had a previous girlfriend, and that relationship ended only in 1 week. Well, I could say 2 days, because Deku doesn't have the confidence. Oh, Toga liked him, but really, she thought that Bakugo, well, she wanted to get closer to Deku so she can get closer to Bakugo. So, really, Deku had really no love interest. But, we move. So, it's Ochaka's turn to do rock climbing. And she starts climbing until Bakugo throws rocks at her and she trips. And Deku saves her again, and she starts blushing, and she's like, "You're my hero," in her head. But she can't say it out loud, as it's her crush, and she is basically, goofing around, like, and scared, saying, "I did need help, but thank you, Deku." And yeah. And now it's Deku's turn. And Deku, he goes at the top until Bakugo gets his big rock and hits it at Deku's head, knocking out Deku. Deku is falling. And don't forget, this is outside. And Deku falls into a river. and he hits his head on a rock inside the river. Deku starts getting sink and sinking and sinking and sinking at the bottom of the river. Deku's ears are bursting. His eardrums are closed. Well, they turn open because Deku's now hallucinating, thinking of things he wants in his life. He wants everybody to be happy. He wants order, because in this world, Deku has an abusive father who is an alcoholic person, and his mom is basically a drug addict. And yeah, Deku just wants to be a nice person, and most of the time he lives by himself or just gets beaten up by his own father and by a bully, Bakugo. But this one thing saves Deku. Ochaka is about to get pushed into the water. We see Bakugo teasing her to jump and save her one-in-love husband, Deku. But Deku is just sinking. People are seeing blood come out from Deku's head. And they're like, oh my gosh. Bakugo, I think you've gone too far. And Bakugo's like, nah, I want that guy to die. And Bakugo's friends are like, are you serious? I'm not trying to be a murderer or even a villain like you. And Bakugo's like, hey, shut up, or I'll beat your ass and I'll do the same thing to you. That rock really hit him hard. Hey, Ochaka, you're getting kind of close to the water. Can you swim? And Ochaka is like, no, I can't swim. And Deku is seeing this, but the water is not very clear, and he thinks that Bakugo is hurting her, beating her up. But this one thing helps. We see a Mjolnir at the same river in the bottom of the sea. Lightning from inside. Thor's soul inside. Basically levitating the hammer. And we see the hammer goes on Deku's hand. Deku's hand raises up, trying to reach out to Ochaka. Boom! The water spins into a 360. Each shock explodes Bakugo's eardrum. We see Deku with a hammer that is spinning around his hand, and he's floating in the air. And in his eyes we see blue, the color of lightning. It is charging, building around him. He is full of rage. He throws the hammer straight at Bakugo, pushing Bakugo to a tree, knocking out Bakugo. And then Deku wields the hammer, calling it back, and reaches his hand to the air. Lightning strikes him. And the teacher's like, oh my gosh. Is that Hizuku, the quirkless kid? And the teacher's like, I don't get paid enough. Then he starts running to the hotel, just like a normal anime teacher would do. And then the other kids are like, what the And the other kids are like, oh my gosh, he's a monster. What would be great? And some kids are like, oh my gosh, he's insane. Is that a hero? Wait a minute. Is that the weird kid in the back of the class? Hey, at some point I thought that kid was going to be a school shooter or something. Not some guy with a hammer. If you can call him Thor. Thor, the mythology guy. Ha ha. The Vikings only believed you. But you're only a mythology. People start throwing rocks, thinking it's just a prop, and saying, Baku, wake up, wake up. Look at this moron. And how did he get pushed back from that? Ha, it's probably just some toy. And then Deku's eyes just change red. Pure red. Angry. And that he slams his hammer, making a shockwave. Making an earthquake around the whole world. Countries are separating because of that. Deku is pissed off that his classmates are not impressed with his new powers. Deku lands. Ochako hugs him. Deku turns back to normal. And he's like, ugh. And he starts vomiting out water. And he's like, what? Why is there water all over? Wait a minute. I got pushed. Wait. A rock. Why is my head bleeding? Chaco? Why are you hugging me? Wait. I remember. I was floating just a second ago. With a hammer with lightning. Wait a minute. I don't know what's going on with me. What happened to everybody? Everybody wakes up. They're like, what the... oh my gosh. Gachan, wake up. Gachan's like, wait. Where's Deku? Where is he? And then Kazuki looks at Deku and is like, Moron, what was that power? And Deku's like, I don't know, but maybe it's my quirk. And realistic, it's not Deku's quirk. And Deku's gonna think about this is gonna be his quirk for the rest of his life. Till some point in the story. And Deku starts waving around the hammer, and the whole classmate is like, don't move with that thing. That thing just made a freaking earthquake. And I think it went around the whole world. Then the teacher comes back and it's like, guys, the hotel split into two. The ground just cracked. Tell me what just happened. And then the teacher hears like a radio and it's like, breaking news, everybody. The world has gone through a massive earthquake, cracking the Earth's core, meaning that countries are splitting apart, meaning gravitation is going to be less more likely to cause climate change. This is a good thing, but it's slightly different to our geography that we all learnt at school. So, we've created new names for these countries. Something called Utopia, Utopia Land, Uterina Land, different types of things. And I don't know if this was one of All Might's punches, because if that was him, that was insane. And everybody looks at Deku's hammer, and they're like, dude, I think I've read stories about that. Isn't that Mjolnir thing? And Deku's like, nah, it can't be. Just legends. And the teacher's like, well, in history, it does say things about that. Guys, I think we have to cancel our trip. By tomorrow, we'll all go back home. We follow from 2 years later. Deku is officially 15. He has Mjolnir. His mom doesn't know about it, and he's kept it secret. He's transferred schools so many times because he just lashes out, and somehow the hammer keeps coming back and forth. He just wants to fit in like normal kids, but he can't. He gets these visions of these different people, this battle, and mostly just Ragnarok. The battle of gods. Something he does not even know. The Cerberus versus Thor. Thor's final battle in his head. He's just visualizing all these different battles. And it's so crazy that Deku sometimes doesn't even sleep anymore. Deku has stayed up for at least 100,000 hours sometimes, because how big-minded, how worthy he is. He's not weak-minded like Iron Man, all those other people, because Odin even said that you had to be strong-minded to lift Thor's hammer, and Cap was, so I think Deku could be. So, Deku is now at this new school. He's still friends with Ochako Raka, because Ochako is basically his girlfriend. And they started dating a couple months ago, around 7. And it's their anniversary, so Deku is getting surprised by his girlfriend. Ochako has thrown a party, but it's only just them two, as Deku has lost friends over the past few years as he's moved to new schools. And Ochako and him are eating cake, and then Ochako gives him a present, and it's this invitation to UA, and Deku's like, why are you giving me this? I know this is the school you're going to, but I don't want to go. I don't want to be a hero. That's just a fantasy of mine. I used to a couple of years ago, but not anymore. I found that the hero life is 10 times much more harder. Ochako's like, please, just please come. I want your love there. I may get picked on and, get bullied. I'm not that good making friends just because of my parents. What I've done in the past of Japan. And Deku is like, I don't know about going there. It's too posh for me. And they're the greatest school of all time of balancing heroes. And I might as well just be a history teacher at school. As I know lots more about Viking mythology and that. And yeah. And Ochaka's like, I'm gonna leave this invitation. Call me when you've decided to become a hero. Full time. And use your quirk. Your hammer. We don't know what the hammer is. And Izuku's like, we do. It's Thor's hammer. Probably from a different realm. But, yeah. Only Ochako knows about this hammer, as it's his girlfriend and best friend. And only friend. Deku is like, I'll call you if I want to become a hero. I will. And he gives her a goodbye kiss. Deku goes to sleep, and he starts hearing voices. And it's like, young one, stay minded. And it's the same person, same old man with an eye patch who disappeared that day when Deku was answering, where's my classmates? And Deku's like, who is that guy? Why now am I remembering him? Is he something important about this hammer? The only thing I know, this hammer just gives me levitation and throws lightning. What else can it do? Well, it can come back from nowhere, kind of like a boomerang. Well, I can call you the boomerang hammer. Well, Mjolnir is your real name, but I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. I bet you can make an Australian accent just to maybe act like him some god or something. Hey mate. Doesn't make sense. In Norway? Yeah, I'm from Norway. So weird. So corny. A British accent. That could work. Can I have tea? So weird and so stereotypic. American. Hey, what's up, dude? I'm so bored of my life. I should stay as being a nerd. Deku wakes up in the middle of the night and he says, I'm calling Ochaka, I want to be a hero, I got nothing to do. Being a nerd is so boring. Calls her and is like, honey, I want to become a hero. And Ochaka's like, I knew you would call. I think you have to call the school and the principal for it to happen. And your parents' permission. All the documents happen, everything happens. Deku starts training. He goes to the beach. And he sees this one kid who's blonde-headed. And he's like, hey kid, how are you? My name is Mirio. And Deku's like, my name is Izuku Midoriya. I just want to practice my quirk here. But I realized that you're practicing with that. Wait a minute, is that guy All Might? All Might, can I have an autograph on my hammer? And All Might's like, what's this hammer, kid? Hey, let me lift it for a second. And then All Might lifts it and the whole hammer drops to the floor, crushing the land. And it starts going deeper and deeper. And All Might's like, what the? It's sinking me into the land. What's going on? It's too heavy. I can't lift it. It's impossible. And Mirror's like, what do you mean, sir? It's just a hammer. And Deku's like, I told you, sir. I didn't want you to hold it. It's impossible. Well, I'm the only one worthy for it. Because I'm kind. I want to save others. And I just want to make the world a better place. And, yeah. And All Might's like, kid, so you want to train with us? You look like you're a pretty smart, intelligent kid, and you're pretty strong. So the next 6 months, Deku starts training with All Might and Mirio. Then we follow from Deku waving his Thor hammer, and he's like, ready Mirio? Ready All Might? Ready to fight me? And All Might's like, 3, 2, 1, go. Deku slide tackles Mirio, gets his Thor hammer, and pins Mirio to the ground. Then punches All Might with an electricity punch, then an electricity bead twist, then a side flip, up kick, back flip, and then he, calls for Mjolnir and smacks out All Might's face, knocking All Might out, spins the hammer, uppercuts Mirio to this pole, and Mirio gets knocked out too. And Deku's like, I may be too overpowered. I could be #1 hero if I really train. And All Might's like, kid, you're so remarkable at this. And Deku's like, Mirio, tell me, what's your quirk? I never realized what it is, and you never told me. And Mirio's like, my quirk is... All Might's like, his quirk is, phasing. And, his dad's quirk is, hard punches. My quirk is... Hey, is that a pigeon? All Might and Mirio disappear, and Deku is like, that was pretty weird. But I guess that's it of training, I guess. Deku goes home. And then his abusive dad comes in. And he's drinking. He's like, "Son, give me another can of beer." And Deku goes into the fridge and gives his dad. His dad's like, "Sit down there." And Deku's like, "Dad, what do you want?" "I just want to do my homework." And the dad's like, "I said sit down." Deku sits down and is like, okay. What do you want?" Deku's abusive dad is like, "You think you're smarter than me, kid? You think you're better? Tell me, where's your mom?" Deku's like, "I don't know his mom. She left 2 years ago." And Hasashi's like, "You wanna know where she is? She's probably having a thing with my best friend, who's a freaking lawyer." "Kid, you will be like me when you're older. How do you fancy that? Being me is like a dream come true. 'Cause I'm the best dad in the world. I've never heard that in my life from your words. Could you please pass me that cigarette over there? And please light it up. 'Cause I'm gonna burn you." Deku's like, "Huh? What do you mean?" Deku gives the cigarette to his dad. And at the top of it, it's fire. Hasashi is like, "Nah, this is not real fire. Let me use my quirk." He breathes out his fire quirk. And he grabs Deku's hand and he puts the cigarette on Deku's skin. Deku's skin reacts and pimples start showing. And Deku gets burnt. And Deku's like, "Ow, what was that for, Dad?" And Hasashi's like, "I'm training you to be a man." Then Hasashi gets a glass bottle and smashes it at Deku's head. And Deku's like, my eye, it's been cut." "I said, stop it. You told me to call the police. You're the only one. The only family member I have." And so she's like I could care less. You realize I got more than 100 kids out there. You're the only one I cared about because of your sexy mom. But what am I doing here? Wait a minute, it's my house. I could kick you out if I wanted to. But the thing is, I already burnt all your stuff. Your room is empty. I gave it to charity. Wait a minute. No, I didn't give it to charity. Because I hate charity. I put it in the bin. Where the bin men are going to put it into machines. They're going to cut it up and put it into the trash. Or even that beach. And Deku's like, "What the?" Deku runs upstairs. And he opens his door. Everything is gone. Then Deku's dad starts walking up the stairs. He's like, "Son, I'm gonna beat your ass." And then Deku's dad gets his belt, starts whipping it around. Deku's like, shit. His room is empty. Deku trips on some string. And then Deku's dad starts whipping the floor, torturing Deku. Then the screen cuts. We just hear beats, smacks, and smacks, whips of Deku just getting beaten by his dad. Deku screaming, "Ah!" Deku's bleeding. Then Deku any second could be killed. And then Deku reaches his hand out. Mjolnir comes out of his bag and pulls to his hand, whacks it to his dad's face, smashing it. And Deku blasts out of the house in supersonic speed. And Deku goes to Ochaka's house from nowhere, knocks on the door, runs upstairs, running past Ochaka's dad, and kisses Ochaka. And Ochaka's like, "What happened to you? Why are you bleeding?" And Deku's like, I'm bleeding. My dad, he did it again. I think I killed him." And then Ochaka's dad is coming upstairs and he's like, "Honey, what was that?" And Deku is like, "Goodbye, Ochaka." Deku climbs out of the window and he's like, "Where am I gonna live?" And Ochaka's like, "Meet me at 9. You can stay with me. And you can sleep on this bed. I can sleep on the floor." And Deku's like, "I think it should be the other way around, Ochaka. I should be sleeping on the floor." Anyway, see you at that time. And that's where we're gonna leave it off for today's episode of What If Deku was the wielder of Mjolnir and the God of Thunder, Part 1. Part 2 will come soon, so please like and subscribe, and see you guys on the next What If. Good night.